Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life.
That's
Brendo.
how we doing?
I was ready. Did you notice?
Oh, no, yeah, you were. That was really good.
I've been thinking about that for days. I was trying to be ready.
That's it. All right, what are we? Episode 17.
17.
Today we have, I believe, possibly our first troll.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, he's your first troll.
Yeah,
he's been really nice to me.
I didn't troll people that deserve it, to be honest.
Thank you. Oh, totally.
There it is.
Totally.
There it is.
Yeah, no, I deserve it. Bring it on.
Go on.
BowDog, how you going, mate?
Yeah, good. Fresh.
Thanks for joining us.
Feeling fresh.
All right, so should we actually get into why or how we decided to get BowDog on or invite him on the pod?
Did you just call him BowDog?
BowDog.
That's actually better.
Yeah,
we should have gone with BowDog.
BowDog.
Oh.
That's not better at all.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, it depends who you ask.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where are we going with this one?
Well, I just want to know, how did you find us? Like, how did you actually start?
Well, you, Brendo, had to troll for a lot of shit. No.
Yeah.
No, it's just Twitter. It was probably hats I've probably found before you. I can't remember. The podcast, maybe, what's it, 17? It was maybe about number 10.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I just enjoy. I've been in Bitcoin since about early 17, late 16, early 17, and I've done all of the Stefan Livera, Austrian school, the Matt and Marty, and I've gone through all of that, and I think I've come to the conclusion I just like normal plebs chatting shit about Bitcoin. So that was one of the reasons that I found you guys. I honestly can't remember. It was just on Twitter somewhere. I thought, let's have a listen to these guys. And I thought, it's an old, wise Scottish man. Now I realise I've been hoodwinked.
I resemble one of those remarks. I'll take wise.
Yeah.
It's funny that Twitter just it just sends you down these little rabbit holes in itself, and you don't really know where you end up. Like it is, but all of it's interesting though. You said, Stefan, Matt, and Marty. I mean, you don't know how you get there, but we all sort of get to the same place.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, but I think one of my first pods to start with was Stefan. Like,
too difficult.
Yeah. Oh,
it's still too difficult.
It's still too difficult, BowDog, believe it or not, for me.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
So I say I was sort of at the end of 16, 17. I found it through sort of an Austrian angle, really, Bitcoin. And I think I remember where I was walking down the street, and I just burst out laughing when the Epiphany just hit, and I thought,
really?
They'll think I'm weirdo. Yeah, I was on Elwood Street. I was walking down it, and I realised, what is money? I said, all these problems, and people worry about money, and people can just print it out. I can't explain it, but everything just clicked in my head, and I just burst out laughing. I thought, this is all ridiculous. And I wasn't working at the time, and I got home, and I just so I had 8 hours a day, and I just started to consume. And I went down the Austrian route for about a month, gold and all that, before I found Bitcoin. And I think the first thing that really kicked in was on YouTube. There's a thing called Series of Money. Have you seen that?
Series of Money. Oh, is that the thing with Mike Maloney? No.
Mike Maloney, that's the man. Yeah,
that's one of the first things you showed me.
Yeah, they're all great except for the one about cryptocurrencies. Every other episode is good, apart from that one, which is like number 7 or number 8.
Yeah, so that obviously would have been pre that. So that was basically all the history of money. That would have been pre that one. And I just sort of obviously consumed that, and then went down that path. And then I think how most people get into it, just Andreas just consumed his old back catalogue on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
He has a nice mix of sort of technology and also sort of getting his thumb up you a bit and getting you a bit fired up, as he does, Andreas. So I just went down there, and like I say, I wasn't working at the time. And so I just started to consume about 8 hours a day. And within about a month, 2 months, I was, well, that's a lie, because I held shitcoins until post-halvening. But certainly within the first few months, I was I had a good understanding of what Bitcoin was, and I was sorry. What was the original question?
I don't know, man. Just crack on. That's good. I'm liking it. Just keep going.
Oh, I guess it's kind of a bit of an introduction for you. But one thing that I found interesting, you just said something about you kind of went down the Austrian route
First.
before you found Bitcoin. So what introduced you or led you down that little path?
I don't know, because I was thinking about it. Obviously, most Bitcoiners probably come down the get rich quick, or they hear it often, hear it news, or however many touches, and they come down it through a different route. Whereas I came down that route. I don't know. I think I wasn't, like I say, I wasn't depressed at the time, but I think I was just I had a lot of time off work, and I was just had a lot of time to walk and think deeply and meditate on things. And I just realised that it's all fucking bollocks. I mean, you're slaving away for what people that can just print shit. It's just all ridiculous. It's all ridiculous. So I came through the Austrian route of saying, well, sell money. This is all logical. And I've got another theory about. I think more engineers. There's quite a few. I'm an engineer myself. There's a civil. You'll decide that for yourselves. Heard that one before. There's a few engineers in the space. I know Friar Haas over here in Aussie is an engineer, and I think it's quite a few engineers, and I think it's because we like finding solutions to problems.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of engineers come through that route, and I think a lot of engineers are what Savetsky would call the remnant. They're sort of the hardcore, because they like to find solutions to the problem. And if you think from first principles and you go back, well, why is this a problem? It goes to that. It's just like being like a 5-year-old child. Why?
It's a puzzle, right? It's a puzzle.
Yeah, we've got to get on the train. Why? Well, because we've got to go to see the football. Why? Well, because we're going to enjoy it. Why? And you go all the way back. You just keep asking why. And so many problems, like the meme says, fix the money, fix the world. So many problems just comes down to the root money.
So mate, you're in Australia. Let's just start there, okay? But you're obviously English. Where's home originally for you?
Ipswich, England.
Ipswich. So
southeast.
South. Yeah, gotcha. So when did you come over, year wise?
13.
13. So post
8 years.
So you would be working during 2000, what happened in 2008, right?
Yeah.
And so you saw what happened over there in 2008. So did that have any effect on, watching banking bailouts? Did that send you towards, like, does that make you start thinking the Austrian gold way, or does that does that have anything to do with it?
No, I don't know if it contributed to it. I don't really think so. I think back now, and I think
like, were you angry in 2008 when you saw what was happening?
Or I wasn't happy.
Mm-hmm. But you weren't. No, but it wasn't like you were about to join Occupy.
No, I mean, wrath is my sin, but I wasn't. I mean, I saw what was happening, and I couldn't comprehend why, particularly certainly the boomer generation didn't understand why my generation. Say, I mean, I was the young 20s then. Why my generation were unhappy about this. It didn't really happen as far as I can understand, it didn't really happen in Australia, the old credit crunch thing. It sort of just went, and it just carried on. But it obviously in England and around the rest of the world, house prices, whatever, they don't seem to comprehend that I'm working and I'm doing the right thing by saving for a house. But then 2008 comes around, they're taking my tax money to prop up the price of their houses. That's what I'm doing. I'm giving them my tax money to prop up their price of their house, and boomers don't seem to comprehend that. Like, why is everyone so angry? Like, well, we had to do it. No, fuck off.
When did you buy $1 million house?
So I mean, obviously that's probably part to do with it. I think it's a lot of Bitcoiners that come in through that, certainly through this sort of morality route. Don't like to be told what to do either.
Yeah, that's definitely a trait.
So yeah, that was all good. Obviously, yeah, I said I got in early 16, and then I did shitcoin for a while, mainly in Bitcoin when I was still trying to understand it, as most people do. there's not really, I don't think there's really any way around that. People have just got to touch the stove. Certainly if you like learning things yourself, whereas I like doing things to learn myself. You've just got to touch the stove, and you got to get burnt. Not that I did get burnt, but I did. Sorry.
I was just going to ask, can I ask what shitcoins you actually...
So I held, so I had Bitcoin obviously, and then coming up to the halving, I had Dash. Do you remember those Dash?
That's still around, isn't it?
Axel, no Dash.
Yeah, I remember Dash. I didn't ever have any, but yeah, I remember it.
Yeah. So I had Dash, and I had a bit of Litecoin.
Yeah, guilty. I had some Litecoin.
I think I got rid of my Ethereum by then. And the reason I had Dash and Litecoin, certainly coming into the halving a few months before it, was I don't know if you were around back then, but it was very nervous. The whole atmosphere was like, looking back now, it's all easy to say, oh, well, it's obvious that this Bitcoin was going to succeed. I was running a node signaling for SegWit Node 2x. And it's obvious now looking back saying, well, it's obvious that was going to succeed. No one wanted that trash. Big blocks are stupid. But the whole atmosphere was very strange leading into that time.
Yeah.
And I had that. I think I had that in case the big blocks sort of justified it to myself in my head in case the big blocks came in. I had something.
A bit of a hedge.
A bit of a hedge, I suppose. And as soon it was clear, I'd say maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month after the halving, just got rid of everything.
That's impressive. That's impressive. That's a quick decision.
I say and also I tried to sell my Bitcoin Cash, which I lost quite a bit of it because it was incredibly difficult, especially for I'm not techie. I'm more sort of a philosophical side of Bitcoin. That's where I've come from. I'm not really a techie, so to speak. And so there was one or two demos about how to change your Bitcoin Cash for Bitcoin. Like they came out pretty quick, but they were obviously all command line stuff, which you can follow through, and it didn't always work. And so probably about half of my Bitcoin Cash I lost, but I've got half. But anyway, I might sound like I said, I sold my Litecoin and Dash. It might sound like I've got a lot. No one's got as much as you think they've got. Let's just say that. And if the amount of Bitcoin I'd bought would have been in that when I first got into it, I would
totally. We've got those.
You shouldn't do that to yourself.
I actually quite enjoy that. I actually take a bit of enjoyment from. Oh my god, what a fucking idiot I was! Like that actually, because it proves that you've learned, right?
You're like, yeah. So are you like Hats in that you kind of played with Bitcoin for selling and buying and trading as well, and like not just hodling?
No. I just hodled Bitcoin.
Okay.
I think like I said, because I had, and I think we get on to people that don't comprehend Bitcoin very quickly and aggressively. Well, not aggressively, but smash them. But I had so much. I'm a slow learner to start, but I wasn't working. I had so much time, and I was just consuming. I like to say probably 8 hours a day, and I'd say to this point in time, I've probably done easily 5,000 hours on Bitcoin, and that's what it takes, though. Like,
and you've got plenty left to do. No offense, we all have.
Massively. I mean, I'm not even. Like I say, I've got the whole technical side to do, really. And Sailor comes in and says, "Oh yeah, do 100 hours, 200 hours." I'm like, maybe for you, Sailor, but at what level do you get the conviction? Do you comprehend it? I don't know. It was, it was an interesting time back then, and then obviously. Oh, I had some funfair as well. Do you remember that one, Hats?
No, that means nothing to me. I feel like I should have had some, but I didn't know enough for me.
Funfair.
I mean, there's just so many. Like,
such bollocks.
There'll be 10,000 coins on CoinMarketCap.
But as a mechanism for people just to trade,
it was whatever Binance would do.
Good luck to them. But
I don't think the people. Some people obviously knew exactly what was going on, but the vast majority of people were looking at the whole thing as here's a way that I can speculate and potentially make some money. And nobody was really thinking about, one of these coins is going to replace global currency. Very few people were thinking like that. And well, the vast majority of people didn't even realize that we needed to replace the global currency, and still most people don't understand that. Yeah. So, I mean, it was such a different time.
Yeah, it was bizarre. It was whatever Binance. Obviously, in Australia, we haven't got that many exchanges, and most of them are shit. But it was whatever Binance was listing that week. You know, it was just going crazy because obviously Binance is across the globe pretty much, or certainly in the, strong countries. And whatever it was listing that week, you just buy it and it would just go through the roof.
Yeah, there's if John McAfee mentioned something, or McAfee, depends who you're talking to, if he would mention something, then the coin would absolutely fly. If Kaiser ever mentioned Bitcoin, like very early days, if Kaiser was mentioning Bitcoin would fly, like literally off the back of a comment from one person.
So it's like trying to jump on a rocket without actually checking what the rocket.
Completely.
But it was like it wasn't, because it was like jumping on a rocket, but you're already on a rocket, and it's trying to everything's going up. You're just trying to jump on which rocket wins the race.
Yeah.
It was crazy, and also you got to bear in mind that was a no sort of KYC era as well. Yeah. Like Binance didn't have any KYC. You could transfer anything in from anywhere, and bish bash bosh out. Oh, yeah. Not that I'd done any trading, ATO. But that was crazy. And then, I just really enjoyed the big bear market. Just consuming more and more. I mean, you think about the podcast you got now. I don't think what Bitcoin did was out until sort of maybe 18, was it?
Yeah, something like that. It might even have been 19.
Yeah,
it certainly wasn't Bitcoin only for a to begin with. It wasn't a Bitcoin only podcast.
Yeah, there's Bitcoins and I think that's why you look back now and you think, I mean, it was the Wild West, and that was quite late as well. I mean, you think back what it must have been like at 11 and at 13. You just think, crazy, but. Anyway, plowed through, and I think we're in a lot better position now. Hopefully. Yeah,
I mean, I think your big block issue that was the fight, and not that. I mean, looking back, it's really easy to say, clearly we're going to win that fight. But at the time, I think that was the fight that has got me to the point of, and not certainly maybe not even at the time, but now that was the point that's gone. This is now inevitable. Previously, before that, maybe it wasn't quite so inevitable because regulators could have done more if they'd have chosen to. But I mean, maybe that's even wrong. But that for me was the point where I went, yeah, okay. And conviction is just built and built and built. And every now and again, you'll either hear something from somebody or you read something and it will just click for you. And it's the moment you were talking about before where you just start laughing. You're like, oh my God, like that is totally correct. And you just know it. You just know it's to be true. And you're like, okay, well, that's good. That now I can do something else, right? I don't have to worry about that at all. Now, maybe you can still look at your security setup or different. There are still things to think about, but the one of Bitcoin's going away, that's not a thing I think about ever.
No,
it's not going away.
But also, you go, mate.
No, I'm just going to agree. It's not going away. Pandora's box has been opened. The code's there. It's never going away.
Because Bitcoin itself is just an idea, right?
Yeah. It's whatever happens. It's not. And it makes me think. I travel quite a bit on airplanes, used to, and it makes me laugh when you go into these different countries. It says tick a box if you're bringing in over $10,000, and you think, well, how do I tick this? Because technically, I'm bringing it across. It's in my head, but also it's also in Poland, and it's also in a basement in Argentina, and it's also in a fat man's closet in New Zealand.
I think I've been there. No, sorry. Yeah, completely. The questions are becoming more and more ridiculous because you're like, well, it's the same as you're trying to fill in your tax return, even doing the right thing. You're like, these questions are ridiculous. They don't even make sense.
Yeah.
things have moved on, and regulation has not moved with it. But I guess that's always been true, not just with Bitcoin, but the amount of things now that I look at and go, oh, I was in the car today. I was listening to the ABC, and like it was obviously the guy was like the economics editor for the ABC, and he's just talking about debt. Oh, that's what they were talking. They were originally talking about. Apparently tonight is another debt ceiling conversation in the States, and he's just talking. They're talking about whether it's going to happen or whether it's not going to happen. Of course, it's going to happen. Yeah. Right? They have no option but to raise the ceiling. There's no option, and this is the guy who's telling the guy who's telling the normal people how to act, and he's pretending like this is something that could go either way. Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? And once you have that sort of mind opening, like this is just all garbage. And I don't.
It's all theatre, and I've been noticing it. Well, I've been noticing it for a few years now, but a lot more people are starting to cotton on to this this term gaslighting. I think it comes from a film where a person makes, I think it's a man makes a woman feel like she's going crazy. And it's everywhere. It's I saw a post today on Twitter. These camps up in Darwin that they've put in for the COVID, and you go on Instagram and you search it on Google, and there's women in bikinis standing there like this, making it look like a holiday camp. And then someone's put how it started, how's it going, and then there's like obviously a guy like in hazmat gear, like swabbing them and bending them over, and it makes you think like you're going crazy. And the problem is people that are busy building the world, they're doing things, and the people that aren't, the people that are in their mum's basement and they're always on media. And they making you just think like you're going crazy. Like, but I don't know. It's very strange. I don't know. I don't really know what's happening.
Here's a question for you, right? How many people who are participating in this theatre that's going on thousands of topics, but how many of them are aware that they're a participant in the theatre? Because I would argue that I was a participant in the theatre and I had no idea.
Little, yeah.
I had no idea. So it's like,
but, I mean, an economics editor must know that I mean, he's reporting on this just to get his mortgage paid off and feed his kids. He knows the debt ceiling's getting, he's just got to spice it up to keep you listening to the radio. Oh, is the debt ceiling going to get raised or is it not? Well, yes, it is. Yeah. As a reserve Englishman.
Tune in from my next article.
Yes. Now move on.
See, I'm not as convinced of that. I remember sitting in economics lectures, and the guy wasn't lying to me. I think he believed what he was saying. So I just think he's a participant in the theater, and it's like, so who is if that's right, who is the puppet master? Who's the real puppet master? Because all politicians are just people who, like, some of them get into it because a lot of them get into it for the right reasons, I believe, but a lot of it's their ego. You could argue this is our ego sitting on a podcast, right? But they get into it, and they believe that they're the ones making they're not making the decisions.
Yeah, but it's so
who's making the decisions?
It's a very bureaucratic thing where it, almost in a trickle down kind of Chinese whispers way. From on high, a decision is made, and then generally that is just slowly filtered down to the rest of the population.
But my question is, who's the on high? Like who? Like we all sit here and say, oh, they and them, and who are these they and thems? Because they're not politicians. There's nobody telling me that Scott Morrison, Boris Johnson,
Joe
Biden.
Our first Illuminati pod.
Maybe. I'm just conspiracy theory and people immediately. Yeah. Whatever. But like,
don't get me onto politics.
Sorry, mate.
I said, don't get me onto politics with old dictator Dan down here.
Well, right, yeah. But I mean,
it's crazy. The problem is most politicians. People that apply to be politicians, they shouldn't be politicians. That's the last person you want in the job because they want the power, they want the recognition, they want, so
ego driven.
You should just be picking. You should just walk through a hospital and just point at a nurse or a doctor and say, you're going to lead the country for the next 4 years. They go, I fucking want to do it. Well, tough luck. You've got to do it. That's the whole reason you've got to do it. It's because you don't want to do it.
You don't want to
Because you don't want it. Yeah. Yeah. It would mean it would be effective, or at least it would be maybe less disruptive.
It would be more honest.
It would certainly be more
Effective,
honest.
Maybe not.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe it would be more honest. But so.
Well, hopefully it reduces all the need for, all of this bollocks and legislation.
So you, if you don't want to go down this angle, just tell me you don't want to go down angle. But so you're in Melbourne and we're obviously in New South Wales. And it's been, we can see why it's been down there for people, right? It's not been good and it continues to not be good. What is the general feeling from the average person? I mean, because it's very difficult to not be at the polar ends of the spectrum on the issue. So, well,
I'm obviously into Bitcoin, so you know which end of the spectrum I'm on with regard to liberty and freedom. I thought I used to be slightly to the center of the right, slightly to the right of center, but now apparently I'm sort of on the right of Genghis Khan. The way the Overton window has moved, because I want to walk down the street without a mask on outside. It's just absolutely lunacy. We had the longest lockdown in the world, I believe.
Yeah, I think I heard that, read that. Yeah.
But it was just absolute lunacy. And the way people bought into it was incredibly strange to me. They would just go along with it. Like my next door neighbor, they lost their business. I get the feeling they sort of come to an end and they didn't really overly want to do it anymore. But the acceptance of it was like, well, we're all in this together. And I'm just like, the words are very important, and the phrasing people are using, things like, oh, well, COVID is I can't believe it's wreaked havoc like this. No, it hasn't. It hasn't. Decisions made wreaked havoc like this. COVID didn't stop you, keeping your business open. And just recently at my local that I go to and some other pubs, I've seen them up on real estate. They're wanting to get out. Everyone's, how can you possibly run a business? Certainly in the leisure industry, the hospitality industry, in a situation like this.
Well, you just need certainty.
And certainly there's legislation that came in today, I believe, where whoever has 60% majority of the house, I'm probably quoting a load of bollocks here, but pretty much gets to do a snap lockdown whenever, because the state of emergency was ending in mid-December, and they rushed this legislation through that was just vile on the things, what I read of it, just disgusting, and they managed to get it through. Who would want to run a business in a state that can just say, well, yeah, we're closing it down? And some of the fines for the businesses, if someone's in your property and they're not wearing a mask, you get $20,900 fine, things like this. It's just like, it's very strange. It's like Atlas Shrugged is playing out in real life. I don't know if either of you have read that. If you haven't, then you should. Bit of slop, but it's very good. And it just seems like that's playing out in real life. It's very strange.
I think there's going to be a huge amount of fines for, think up anything. There's going to be a fine for it because they're going to be desperately grabbing. Yeah. I tweeted about this. Like, I think there's going to be a speed camera on every corner. Yeah. Right. And not because I'm not suggesting you could go past a primary school at 100 km an hour, but it's not appropriate to be just putting a camera on every corner, right? No. That is just about fundraising rather than safety. I'm all for the safety side of it, but the fundraising side of it, just for fundraising's sake. And I just think there's going to be, pick your topic. There's going to be, if you're not complying with the narrative, there's going to be a fine for everything coming down the pipe. So,
yes.
Citadel.
Here in Victoria, it was 91% of people that got fined for not wearing masks didn't pay it.
I wonder what's going to happen there, though.
And I was laughing. I was saying, why is that not 100%? Why, wearing a mask outdoors? Here's a fine. Yeah, if I got one off a police, I'd say, yeah, cheers. Just walk down the street and throw it in the bin in front of their face. What are they going to do? They're going to take me to the police station. Okay, brilliant. I can catch up on my reading. Get away from the kid for a few days.
No, they won't, because they don't want to put themselves at risk because you're not wearing a mask.
Yeah. And it's people don't think for themselves as well. During summer last year, I was on the front having a beer, and someone went past So you didn't have to wear a mask if you were exercising. You know, these electric scooters people use.
Yeah.
Someone went past on that, standing still, not wearing a mask, right past this policeman. Seconds later, this guy walked past the policeman without a mask on. The policeman stopped him. I'm like, how do you think that is more exercise than walking? Like, it's just lunacy. Like, it's people not thinking. They're just, and I don't blame it. Like, a lot of people just didn't, just go to work. They want to do the work, get the mortgage paid, feed the kids, and they want to get home and have a beer and eat a pizza and watch some crap on Netflix. And I don't blame them, but I do blame them. Fuck them. I blame them.
It's so.
Yeah, sorry. With regards to that, I was thinking what people's apathy. Certainly, I've been meditating on recently. Certainly, it shocked me this whole COVID stuff with regards to people going along with a narrative, and people talk about the biggest threat to Bitcoin, governments banning it, tech issues, etc., not being decentralized enough. I think the biggest issue by a long way is people's apathy. People just do not care. They want to do whatever's going. If the Bitcoin, if government banned it, they'd be like, yeah, okay. Like the normie, they just do not care.
It's human nature to go for the easiest route. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like any kind of change there's always going to be resistance, or it's always easier not to change.
Yeah, is there a big enough group in the people that now care? Because there are a lot of people. There are also a lot of people that in Bitcoin that care, but is that group big enough yet? To I don't know.
Have you read Svetsky's stuff on the Remnant?
Mm-hmm.
No, really good. I think.
He was with Francis and who else was there recently?
Valis,
and Gigi and Valis a few weeks back. And so they're doing the Remnant podcast from wherever they are, Costa Rica or something.
Somewhere.
Or anyway, somewhere wherever they are.
Somewhere shirtless.
And yeah, I mean, these people, whether you agree with them or not, they do care. They definitely care.
And I think I like the term remnant, and I think there are enough now. And I think they're relentless, and I don't think they'll stop stacking. And that's all you need. I certainly think the next big issue to come in, or just that's there, is certainly the mining and the geography of that, and certainly what Steve Barber's doing in America with the black box. That needs to. I mean, if I was healthier and wasn't in my situation, I'd probably start building stuff like that. But I think the main problem is just getting hold of ASICs. An ASIC minus is the main difficulty, really.
There was a tweet.
The geography of mining. It doesn't scare me, but it's one thing that we certainly can improve on. And I think Australia is a big enough, strong enough country to have a decent mining setup. And I was thinking about this about half a year ago, and I think there was an Australian Telegram mining group that went round, and then I was just thinking, I don't understand why Tasmania don't have a massive mining setup. They're 100% renewable, the whole state. They have been since 2020. They've got so much hydro.
Yep.
Land is incredibly cheap. And I think the main problem is just getting hold of ASICs. Like, you've got to be able to compete with the ASICs, and there's only a few companies out there that are making them.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a huge industry going forward. There's going to be there will be competition comes into it. When there's demand for anything, there's going to be competition will arrive.
Yeah.
Right? I just saw this evening actually that I'll read this out. How do you say this? Econo Alchemist.
Oh yeah.
So whether you want to run one ASIC or several, buy a black box or build your own, now you have my support, and I'm dedicating my time to helping you succeed. I believe anyone can mine Bitcoin at home, and now Steve has given me the resources to make that reality. And that's in response to Steve Barber's tweet. Dear Bitcoin plebs, I'm very happy to announce that Econo Alchemist has joined Upstream Data. as our official mining support specialist for our home and commercial black box and ASIC customers. Now, I believe he's in Australia.
Who?
You're going to ask him, Alchemist? I
Is
think
he?
so. Yeah, I think so.
I actually DM'd him quite a while ago about mining, and he was really gracious and gave me a lot of tips. I did nothing with that advice.
But you're going to, right? You're going to.
I want to, yeah.
Maybe he's not in Australia, but I just think he is.
I assumed he wasn't, but maybe he is.
Hats is totally wrong here, and I'm not going to let him forget it. He's American.
Did you have a few too many whiskeys, Brendo, and then ask some interesting questions, and then he replied, and you thought, "Oh fuck, I feel bad. I've got to do something this now."
Maybe. Well, I have had. I'm getting a big solar setup on the roof, so yeah, I'm definitely.
You're going to have some power to play with.
About power to play with. So,
yeah, I think so. But I think I think it goes across everything. There's so much great content comes out of the States that we've all been listening to it because it's been great. But there's a requirement for this to be happening everywhere, and it doesn't. Content, mining, industry in general, building up around Bitcoin everywhere.
Education,
yes, everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I keep harping back. Yeah. Turkey's a country with 85 million people, right? There's a massive population country, and in real trouble just now.
Looking for a solution.
Desperately looking for a solution.
Yeah.
And there is a solution for them.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine look yourself in the mirror. Imagine you going up to someone in Turkey and saying, "Look, your solution's Bitcoin." What would you think if you came to yourself and said that? You'd be like, "Oh, yeah, sure, right, mate."
I wouldn't. I would say, "Can I introduce you to my Turkish friend Efe?"
Yeah, absolutely. Yes,
who's fluent in Turkish.
Yeah, because because we're not the guys to do that. We're not the guys.
Fuck, I'm not.
But you're definitely not. But
it's also touches as well. They've got to have enough touches. If they're going through a crisis and the first time you say, "Yeah, I've got a solution, Bitcoin," they go, "Yeah, cheers, mate, I'm all right." and then they just got to eat it. But the next time they hear about it, and they'll hear of someone else, and then they'll hear of someone else who they might respect, and then they'll think, "Oh, okay, there might be something to this Bitcoin thing." It's like today. I was on site today, and the client came in. He was chatting to me. Said, "Oh, what are you up to?" And I said, "Oh, I'm doing this over Christmas. Then I think I'm leaving the company and start my own Bitcoin consultancy." And he's like, "Oh, really?" And then I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh." And I was just giving him bollocks. But it's people realizing that mental people, it's not just weirdos in their basement. Not that I'm not a weirdo in a basement, but it's people realizing that it's normal people, so to speak.
Yeah, it's for everyone
that own it, and they say it with a straight face, and that's just another touch for him. He said, "Oh yeah, my wife knew someone who was into Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah." So that's at least his second touch.
Yes.
So and it's just about touches. Like everyone, if I ever go to a party now, which I don't because we're not allowed out. I go to a party and they say, "What do you do?" I just make some bollocks up. Just go, "Oh, I'm a Bitcoin consultant," or something like that. Like seriously, or say, "Oh, I do this, but in my spare time, I'm a Bitcoin consultant. I do this, blah blah blah." And people go, "Oh, really?" And it's irrelevant of however much they take away from the party. They'll always take away the fact that they'll know you said Bitcoin, and they'll
a guy who's
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And if you don't go and burn down a primary school, they won't think you're a weirdo. So
what you're saying is you're going around touching people.
Yeah.
and then you said primary school, so we might have to end it there.
Yeah, we don't cut it probably. Probably should. No. But okay, so
I'm just waiting for I was listening to one of your pods a few numbers back, and Brendo was talking. You were talking about the number you have to get to that you want to get to, and Brendo was talking about paying off part of the mortgage or whatever.
Yep.
And how his numbers reduced. I'm waiting for the point where Brendo gets so much conviction, he's selling his house to buy Bitcoin.
Oh, I get that.
It's not about I'm selling 5%. You're selling, you sell your whole house back in rent and just whack it in the corner. That's certainly what I do.
Throw a swag over my shoulder and leave my family. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it's financially the right decision.
It is exactly. I do not doubt that's financially the best decision, but
I don't.
I like my home.
And your family's okay as well.
Yeah, my family. Yeah, sorry, my family's good. Guys. Love you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the guys who went like just chips in, sell the house 2-3 years ago, or God, people did it years ago. The guy who just took off around the world,
That dark-haired, very fella.
Dutch.
Yeah.
Dutch guy, yeah, the family. What a legend! What an absolute
We
legend!
talked to somebody who knew him.
Did we?
Oh, that's Princey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
Or had him on or something.
yeah, I mean, what an absolute legend. But what did he? Was he a lunatic? Maybe a little bit.
Oh, I think he had a health scare, so that can often push people in certain directions.
Oh.
Just take more risk.
Yeah, well, no, I think he had a health scare and thought, what the fuck am I doing? Getting, working 12-hour days on the stock market. I'm just going to go. And but you say risk, as we know, it's not risk. But the thing is,
well, it isn't now.
Conviction comes with time. Well, yeah, you say that, but I mean, it is still risk, or is it not? I don't know, but conviction comes with time, and there's going to be a point where you turn to your wife, Brendo, and go, maybe it might be a year's time, maybe it might be 3 years time. You go, should we sell the house and just rent somewhere and just put it all in Bitcoin? And she's going to go, no, and she's going to say no. But yes, I assure you that is coming, and I've got a partner. I was never. I'll say fortunate. Bollocks. I didn't work hard enough to ever buy a house or anything. Too much of the good life. But we certainly, if I did own anything, I would have splashed it, and for the corn. But
and the missus is on board, or would be on board with that. Is she into it?
Well, that's the thing. She says she trusts me. She says
that's exactly what my wife says.
Yeah, but she doesn't really want any part of it.
Exactly.
She sort of does understand it to some degree. She's gone from it's like in 2019. So it's like a stock and share to understanding that it's more of
money,
immutable ledger.
Yeah.
But again, and it's slow. And again, that's another aspect. Some people just don't want to know. Some people are living a happy life and they don't care. Everything's going good for them.
Yeah.
Why would they?
Until the day that it doesn't. Until the one day that it doesn't, and that's going to be brutal for so many people. I'll tell you something really fun that happened last weekend. When Wiz came, so yeah, in the DM you said thanks for bringing me on after the Bitcoin royalty.
Oh yeah.
I've got Jonah Loman running at me, and he's just passed me the bloody rugby ball, isn't he? I'm just
yeah.
That may have been intentional, mate.
He's a legend. But we sat at dinner, and Wiz gave Brendo's wife $1.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. $1.
Oh, sorry, I almost choked on my wine.
$1 worth of She downloaded a Lightning app. I don't know what app. I don't even know what app it was.
It was
Wallet Satoshi.
Yeah, it was Wallet Satoshi.
And transferred $1 to her. I sitting at the table, and I knew what was happening in their conversation, and I was just sitting there watching Brendo. I was going, oh my God, he's been trying to do this for like 18 months now.
Well, I think was also, there's a docs.
Beep.
Was also being polite.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, Wiz, anyway.
But it was fun to watch your face.
It was more easy for her to tell me to fuck off.
Yeah. But it's so cool to there's nothing better than if somebody who really doesn't know anything going and just showing them a Lightning transaction and they're like, oh, what happened there? Like, I just sent you money and nobody could stop me.
But I still think people don't even understand that half the time. They just go, oh, cool, your number went to my number or on my phone. You know what I mean? Some get it, some don't.
Yeah, I was speaking to a guy to that lunch who I work with, and I mentioned to him, I even printed off the white paper and gave it to him in 17, put it on his desk because he wanted to read something.
Isn't that illegal now to print off the white paper and distribute?
Craig.
Yeah, Craig's got a problem.
Hi, Craig.
Fake Toshi.
And what was the response to that? Did you get a response? Or?
No, I was chatting to him today. So obviously this is the umpteenth touch. And I was chatting to him, but it just rang the bell. He was talking about a film, and he said a good quote in a film about a guy. He said, "I want to have enough money for it to be FU money." And I've been trying to get through to him on Bitcoin, and I went, Yes.
That's
that's what Bitcoin is. That's FU money. You want to send money to Turkey on a Sunday afternoon? Bang! I've done it. No one can stop me. And and he seemed to sort of pick up on that. And it's everyone from whatever walk of life has a different catch point and a different analogy.
Yes.
Like the master of analogies, Michael Saylor.
Oh.
Did you see that thing on? I was going to say Clarkson there. What was the American?
Tucker
right-wing
Carlson.
bit?
I haven't watched
about
that yet.
8 minutes of. I don't know how long the whole thing was.
He just starts reeling off analogy after analogy, and and maybe he's thought it through. Maybe he realizes that everyone has a different analogy that clicks in their head, and he's just gone right. I've got to get as many people here, and he goes bang, 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 just analogy after analogy, and Carlson can't even get a word in. He carries on talking for about an hour.
That's awesome.
I think so. I think he's super bright and can run these things just on the spot. But I also believe he is really, really well prepared for everything he turns up to. He once turned up to that. Did you ever see the debate with that absolute moron about gold? Can't even remember the guy's name. And it was no, somebody else. I'll come back to me. But it was painful to watch how he just destroyed him.
Was it like watching a horror movie?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm a bit soft, so I'm not big on horror, but he just destroyed the guy. But he was prepared. Like you could see the eyes going across to the notes on the video and things. So he comes prepared. Now he might have 10 guys working for him that he's getting my notes ready, and they might have got really good guys. So it might not be doing the work himself, but I think he does. I think he puts the work in.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just if all of that is completely natural, running the mouth, oh my God.
Uh,
I need 90 analogies by 7 p.m.
Yeah.
But everyone says some stuff that you don't agree with. But yeah, I mean, it's brilliant asset, really. I mean, I don't know why morons are still selling them their Bitcoin.
Frank Justra, I think he was called. Anyway, sorry, that was the gold guy. Sorry, Frank, but you were destroyed.
Sorry.
What do you think about Jack, about Twitter then?
See, a lot of people. I was thinking about this in the car today, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, that's the end of Twitter. That's really poor. That's really disappointment." I think it's brilliant for Bitcoin. You've got to bear in mind this guy who was the CEO of Twitter is now focusing entirely on Bitcoin. Yeah. And it's not to, it's not to jerk him off and say, oh, Jack, you're the man. But it's the focal point of leadership that it's the flag, the rallying cry that a lot of people can get behind. And a lot of people that are a lot smarter than you and I, techies that build, will go, okay, this guy's done it before. You always respect a guy. Say you work in a shitty job and you don't want to clean out a toilet. A guy will go and put his hand on the toilet, and if your boss will come and do it and rip the turd that's blocking the toilet out and shove it down a plug hole or whatever he's going to do with it, and you respect him a lot more when he asks you to do it because you know he's done it. Whereas Jack's done this, he's built it up from the ground. I think for Bitcoin, it's going to be an absolute asset, and I'm actually. I think I prefer him doing that. I don't know what will happen with Twitter. It's irrelevant, really. It's code. You can just run up another one straight away. I mean, I think it's good news. What do you boys think?
I would agree with that. I mean, I think that generally Twitter, we're all in our own little silos anyway. So I don't know. I mean, what's the big worry? That there's going to be more censorship or more bannings on Twitter? There seems like a fuckload already.
So this is coming from
suspensions.
This is coming from Twitter Crypto. This is yesterday. I'm thrilled to share. This is from somebody called Tess Rainerson. I'm thrilled to share that I've joined Twitter to lead a new team focused on crypto, blockchains, and other decentralized technologies, including and going beyond cryptocurrencies. It's the tech. Like I think Twitter is screwed. I think Jack is fine.
No, but yeah, but let's say that she's announced that on the day that Jack announced that he's going to be stepping down. He's not stepping down until next year. So what's is it a timing thing? Like, what's that about?
Well, okay, this is going back to the Illuminati, right? So how long ago was it when Jack tweeted hyperinflation is coming? Like
3
3
months,
weeks? Oh,
maybe?
was it? No, was it as long as that?
Feels like it was.
No, it was like a month, 3 weeks.
There's about 3 weeks a month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put a glass down.
Well, again, it's a bit. We just talked about the Bitcoin timeline.
Yeah,
or
okay.
time-
okay.
Yeah,
It's for which block was it, Brendo? Yeah. Can you tweet? So here, that's my question. Even if you're the CEO of Twitter, can you tweet that and there not be consequences?
Yeah, probably. But the problem is he hasn't got over 50%, has he?
Right. He's not Michael Saylor.
It's not Michael Saylor. He hasn't got,
He's
is a board there.
still the controlling shareholder or not?
Probably.
You'll not be a controlling shareholder. You'll be an important shareholder.
Yeah, I mean, I presume he'll have a good few digit percentage, but yeah, he doesn't own, he doesn't own over 50%. That's definite. So what can he do?
Well, the original mistake was losing control of his own company.
Yeah, but is that a mistake, or maybe he never got where he was if he didn't give away that percentage? So maybe he wouldn't have been in a position to then do that on Twitter and now go on to what he's doing. So you don't know. It's easy. It's easy for us plebs that are morons and we just do a 9 to 5 and to talk about it. And I'll jump on the bandwagon quicker than anyone. And if there's a bundle and throw a few elbows. But I think Jack's in the position he's in. It's a bit like Saylor in the position he's in. I think that Saylor knows, but he's got to be very careful on the word he uses.
Oh yes.
Because it's a different game. At that level, it's a different game.
But do you not find it crazy that a billionaire cannot say what he actually thinks? Like Ray Dalio just had a thing as well about China.
Yeah.
He's getting slammed for that.
Can't say what you either you stand for nothing or you just can't say what you think. And if you can't say what you think, what's the point of being a billionaire?
Well, in a Bitcoin world, you can say what you think. I think that's the problem.
Right.
And I think Saylor's worried that we're still not at that tipping point. Whereas he could come out and say, look, this is what I think. Bitcoin's obviously this, inflation's ridiculous, you're stupid, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, Bitcoin's the key. The dollar's going to nothing. But I think that, and he comes out and says, well, Bitcoin's a savings account and the dollar's going to be currency. Dollar's always going to be here. But that, I don't know. I think that he's probably just playing the game at the minute because I don't think that he thinks the tipping point is here. I think we all know it's inevitable, but we act, or it's weird because we work on Bitcoin and hodl Bitcoin and talk to people about Bitcoin like it's not inevitable. But I think once you understand what it is, then you know it's inevitable, but you still want to make it inevitable. That makes sense?
Yeah, there's a kind
you're sort of still worried that it's not going to be inevitable, but you know that it is going to be inevitable.
Yeah, it's like something that I say is going to help. Like it's not going to help. Like I just hope that I just hope there's something I say it helps somebody else like not get absolutely crushed by what's coming. That's what I hope.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's the same reason we're doing this pod. I feel like I'm representing every idiot out there that asks the stupid questions.
Yeah,
and I'm happy to make a fool of myself to do that.
But if
it helps answer a question for someone else.
Yeah, because you're humble enough to come in here and ask, and what you can, we all don't. I mean, like I asked them too, because I just had longer to think about it, right?
He just doesn't say it on microphone, record it.
But I have no problem whatsoever with somebody coming in and asking whatever they think is a stupid question, as long as they don't come in with this is why Bitcoin is going to fail. Here's my question. Because that's the people way smarter than us.
Is that your attempt at a Texan accent?
I don't know what that was.
Oh man, that was terrible. Whatever.
I don't know. It was my accent.
But you kind of did at least.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I don't even know. You've broken my train of thought. I don't know what I was going to say now.
But but some people, some people are naturally teachers and some people aren't. I'm definitely not naturally a teacher. If someone came to me and said something, I'd be like, "Ooh, you know, what are you on about?" Obviously, there's only 21 million. Why is it, you know, can't there be more? Well, if there's only 21 million, won't we run out? No, obviously it's infinitely divisible. But I understood this, well, you know, a long time ago. Whereas, and it's got to a stage where you've probably forgotten it, a lot of the stuff you learned, and certainly the way you looked upon it when you were new and didn't know anything. And certainly for me, and I'm a terrible teacher anyway. So, but some people are good at teaching. But even if you're a terrible teacher, you can still talk to people. I mean, I've talked to people, and certainly 3 of my friends own Bitcoin. One of them owns it, and he runs a Lightning network on a Raspberry Pi, and is what you'd classify as a proper hodler.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the stage above Brendo. And then 2 of my other friends still.
Yeah, I know, me too.
2 of my other friends still hold it on an exchange and just don't really. I even sent them links. I think it's Armin the Palman does some great stuff. And I sent him a link about. I think it was the one he done about. Why not to keep it on it? 7 reasons not to keep it on an exchange or something like that. Sent him that, and he just replies saying, well, it's not, it's not that much, exchanges won't go under, bloody blah, and it's like they just don't comprehend. It's like they don't comprehend what's happening. I remember listening to a podcast where I can't remember what it was, and the guy said, I go to parties and speak to normies. I get there. I think it might have been on Prince's. I get there, and I'm just at parties, and I look around and I think, wow, none of these understand what's coming in like the next 5 years, and I just don't think people do, and I don't think people care, not until it happens.
Sorry, my daughter's come down. Off you go, baby.
Oh, is this going to be like a Princey-esque?
No, not now. I'm not ready to have her on camera yet.
Yeah.
Off you go, please.
It's just you're right. The looking around the room thing and going, oh my God, you have not got a clue what's coming to you. That's a horrible feeling as well. When it's your, I mean, even if it's strangers, but if it's your friends and family.
There's a question. So I think last pod maybe, or you've done it a couple of times, where you're talking about, you're going up in the rocket, you don't want to see planes falling from the sky.
Yep.
Where's the overlap there? Because at some point, if shit goes absolutely south, it's not like Bitcoin's going, like for me, right? It's not like Bitcoin's going from this to fucking $1 million and I'm totally fine or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm going to hurt. Maybe some whales aren't going to hurt, but I think they're still going to be paying for everybody. Even though I've got it. Hey?
I think the ironic thing is, it will happen anyway, but I think it will happen a lot quicker and a lot more people get hurt, ironically, is if the people that you're looking at saying they haven't got a clue, if they understand what's actually happening, then it's going to happen a lot quicker because they're going to go, oh shit, I need to dig.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's sort of a strange thing. You want to tell them, but the more you tell people, the quicker it's going to happen. And so you can say, well, I'll tell more people so more people, can sort of protect themselves. But the more people you tell, the more people they're going to tell. And it's just, it's exponential growth, and the quicker it's going to happen. We'll see. I mean, I was always worried when I sat down, when I first got into Bitcoin, I was thinking about it. I sat down and I played through from first principles and went through, and I was like, well, this leads to this, that will lead to that. And I went, oh shit, that's going to lead to that, which is essentially the transitional period. I just thought, oh fuck, millions probably could die. It's going to be horrific. A period of 5 years, really bad, bloody blah. So I used to think like that, and since living in Victoria, I'm like, bring it on. No.
If you look back at Weimar, so you say it's not just going to go bang one day. I don't know that that's true. Weimar over a period of 12 to 18 months, Weimar went bang from like one mark being worth like $2.50 or something, or maybe it was $1 was $2.50, mark 50, to be like 2 billion over a period of 18 months.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's not going to go bang. What I'm saying is when it goes bang, or asking when it goes bang, where am I going to be financially? Even though I've got Bitcoin, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm like all of a sudden I can spend it everywhere if it goes bang, or meat's $1,000 a kilo or something stupid.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, I think the free market will adjust, and it's not. You're right. It won't adjust overnight, but once anybody
I need a bunker. I need a bunker and canned goods.
Well, I mean, there's people doing that, and people laugh at them, but I mean, you might not be laughing, right? So, I think things will reorganize, and because the free market will reorganize them, people will act on their own self-interest. All of us. So let's say it's you, right? So, all of a sudden you've got tons of Bitcoin, but the dollar's not worth anything anymore, and the supermarket's closed because they can't get deliveries because the delivering doesn't want to bring the truck. And you can start to see some of these things happening now, right? All over the world. But soon enough, as soon as you work out the one person who's worked out Bitcoin and said, well, I'll sell you my, I'm a farmer and I'll sell you my chops for your Bitcoin, and you say
no
yes.
one wants your chops, Hats.
What was that?
No one wants your chops.
So as soon as that happens, and I think it will happen, there'll be a queue behind you, and I think when we're not moving to like everything runs smoothly again in 24 hours. No, we are not. There's no way.
But if I'm like super private and not doxing myself, nobody knows I've got Bitcoin. Like so many Bitcoiners, who's getting behind me if they don't know I'm a Bitcoiner? And at that stage in life, no one's going, hey, I'm over here with a shit ton of Bitcoin.
The person getting behind you in the queue is the person that wants to feed their kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or the farmer who's got chops, who wants to sell his chops,
and has a $5 wrench.
Or who are you selling? I want somebody will turn up to that farm and say, I would like some chops. And the farmer will say, I won't give you any chops because I don't want any of your money. And they'll say, well, why don't you just give that Brendo guy some chops? And the farmer will say, because Brendo gave me Bitcoin. And that person will go, okay, I need to go buy Bitcoin and go buy Bitcoin. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, but you won't be able to buy Bitcoin at that stage.
Well, yeah. Well, you will, but you'll be getting fractions.
Your body.
Well, maybe.
You won't. No, no one's going to trade it at a certain stage.
You're right.
So there's going to be at least 25% of the population that aren't going to be able to exchange it for fiat currency.
That's frightening.
Yeah,
you're probably right.
And also, you've got to bear in mind, there's at that stage, there's going to be at least 25% of the population as well, probably, that don't even understand what Bitcoin is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is why the transition has to be slow. And I think Jeff Booth is a big proponent of a slow transition, and hopefully we get one, because I think that's the only way, really.
That's the best possible outcome is as slow as possible transition.
But even that's going to be very messy.
And
quite frankly, people our age aren't going to have as comfortable lifestyle as our parents had for the rest of our lives, because the transition is going to be messy. Like it's going to be our kids that are going to get a better lifestyle, and long. Yeah, it's going to be messy and long, and we're going to have to suffer for it, and we're going to have to, maybe go hungry a few nights and and do shit that we don't want to have to do. It's not just going to be like that. Oh yeah, I'm balling on my Bitcoin. I've got a yacht off.
No. Yeah.
Brendo might be doing that, but we're not, because Brendo sold his house for Bitcoin.
All right, I've had enough of this shit.
Mate, what is your thing out? I mean, I don't mean outside of Bitcoin, but do you feel the need to contribute? Or whatever, what is your contribute? Or is your contribute just telling your friends?
Just shit posting.
Or shit posting on Twitter. Yeah, that is contributing.
Yeah.
Is it
like, do you feel the need? Do you feel the compulsion to contribute?
I don't. What, technically, or I mean
anything. It doesn't matter to me what it is.
Or the Bitcoin consultancy that you were talking about.
I mean,
yeah, there you go.
For the compulsion, I mean, back in 17, 18, like most people, when you first learn about it and really start to understand it, I would talk to anyone for hours on it, anywhere. Father-in-law, blah, blah, blah. Anyone, everywhere. And no one wanted to listen. Absolutely no one. Now I'm just at a stage where excuse me, I'm just at a stage where I can't be asked sometimes. I'm just like, I don't feel that I have to contribute. I mean, I've done my part of, I'd say I've got, I've helped 3 or 4 people buy it. Maybe that's my part. If I was to do, I think there's a big market. I did certainly think about it. I think there's a big market for helping. There's a lot of obviously old wealthy people just holding their hand, because they want, a lot of them want it, and a lot of them know what it is or don't know what it is, but they understand store of value, certainly at that age when they're retired, and they just want someone to go around their house and hold their hand, download, buy some off of the exchange, show them how to do it, download it to a wallet, do this. They just literally want someone to hold their hand.
Old
and so
bitcoins.com.
Yeah, I think there's a massive market for that everywhere in the Western world, because obviously we're just all old fucks, the Western world, with all the baby boomers. I think there's a massive market for that.
But okay, so that's the idea, and I agree with your idea. Do you have any plans on trying to do that yourself, or that you're an engineer, right?
Yeah, I work for the railway in the city, but I might be getting the arse because I'm not going to disclose my vaccination status. Yeah. So I might be getting the arse, and if I get the arse for that, then I will. I may do. I'll certainly think about it. But
if somebody offered you a job in sort of a discipline that you understand, I don't know what the job would be right now off the top of my head, but there was a Bitcoin paying job.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, I'll take Bitcoin now for my wages. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, but I'm slowly convincing the lady friend to on Florida. So there's a few options: Florida, UK, El Salvador, obviously.
Yeah.
Where? I don't know Spanish, but I'll have to learn it. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Please.
What do you think about it? Are you boys going to buy a El Salvadorian bond? 100 US dollars, so what's that, 140 Australian, something like that, just for the history and the bands?
Just to have, maybe, just as a collection, not as an investment.
To pump the bags.
I mean, you're getting 6.5% on it, but still.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I never thought about that. Maybe how much is it? Just to
I think I heard Samson now say they were selling tickets off in a $100 segment. So
for 100, I would buy one for $100. Just to say I had one.
But it's also about this bond is on the world stage now. The quicker this bond sells out, the more the big boys are going to say, "Hello, what's going on over here?" Yes, and so
even that notion sounds a bit scammy to me, like a pump and dump. It's like a Telegram group saying, "Oh, we're going to fucking pump Freedom Coin." No. I know. I'm saying perception wise, not actuality. Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's.
I don't know about that. I think you've got to weigh up the value to the Bitcoin network with making this bond sell out very quickly and everyone going, "Hello, what's going on here?" Because that's another touch to the big investors, as against you just buying $100 worth of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And if you were just saving for yourself, obviously $100 worth. But if you're trying to contribute to the network, then what I'm saying is, what's the value? It might be more valuable to buy a bond, and if a million plebs around the world buy a bond, and this sells out in 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I think it will go in. I think it will just go straight away anyway.
Hadn't considered it, but it's a good point.
It is a good point, and I am just playing devil's advocate, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I do like Bitcoin, BowDog. BowDog, what's your name? Damn it.
BowDog.
Yeah, BowDog.
but not as much as your house.
But not as much as the house. Oh, flying talk.
All right.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might head north. I think I'm pretty much done with Victoria.
You've had a long slog, mate. So you've done pretty well to stay there that long. Although I guess you couldn't get out even if you wanted to.
No, it's just people's apathy and everything's ridiculous. Like, I went out the other night for a few beers and went to a place. Oh, sign in here, do this. And it's like, what? No, I don't. Like, I'm not doing all that crap. Like, it's just, it's weird. It's just, it is quite surreal. And you think, and you think you're quite a sane person. You think, well, you think you're a sane person, but you think, well, then, you know, there must be something going on here. This is like, all this isn't right. Like, you know, it's just a bit strange. But yeah, we've had enough. So I don't know. We might travel for a bit. Like I said, if I owned a house, I would have probably sold it anyway for Bitcoin, and just be renting. But yeah, I think I don't know. We might travel for a year. Might go Dutch. I think we'll start calling that going Dutch, shall we? Just sell up and
yeah, why not?
Up.
I mean, I went to a shop today. I hate shops. I hate going to like malls and stuff. They're just miserable. They're like casinos. Like one guy's having a good time and everybody else is miserable. And I went to a shop and there was a woman at the door, and so I went to scan in to do the scan in, and she said, "Oh, you have to show me your vaccination status," and I went, "No."
That's what it is here everywhere. And I
just don't do stuff like that usually, mate. So I mean, it does affect me, but I don't see it directly every day or anything. And I just but the way she looked at me as if she just didn't I don't know that she understood why I was saying no. That was the thing that got me more than anything. Like, it wasn't that she was perfectly nice. The lady was perfectly nice.
She's doing what she's required to do.
But I don't think she'd even considered the fact that somebody would not be prepared to. Which was interesting. I don't know.
So did you walk away?
Yeah, I just left. So I just hope that enough people do that, and then like ultimately the pressure comes from the business to say, listen, we are not doing this anymore because we're losing customers every day. Because they can't. I hope, but I don't know. I don't know where that.
Everyone's fucking bankrupt anyway. It's like getting to your point earlier about taxes. They're going to start introducing taxes on anything. I think. I don't know how long it will be down the pike, but homes real estate tax is going to come in heavily, and it's going to come in hard because it's the only thing you can't really move. You know, you've got a house. I can see it right there. You owe me whatever. I think that's going to come in hard. And so that's another reason to sell your house.
All right, I should be taking notes. My wife's home soon. If you can talk to her.
No,
it's oh, cool, man. Well, anything else you got?
No, I got nothing else. I actually really enjoyed it, BowDog. I thought you were much nicer than I was anticipating.
I liked him anyway before because he's been giving you a hard time, so that's good. Mate, thank you. I really appreciate it.
No, that was really fun.
Do you want us to give us a little send off to your own stuff if you want to, or to your own Twitter or anywhere else?
Stuff. No, I'm a lurker. I would probably just say one thing with regards to people, certainly mentally, health-wise, and feeling down. There are millions and millions of plebs like me out there that are lurking, that have been around for longer than you think, have been around a long time, longer than people, even podcast hosts. And and it's not just everyone that slams down a steak every night, or can spin up a lightning network in a lightning node in 3 seconds, and all of this jazz. There's all levels, and they're all out there, and you're probably going to be getting gaslit a lot by mainstream media and social media to think that everyone's thinking a different way to you. They're not. It's just it's all bollocks. The truth is truth. Just verify it yourself, and just keep pressing on, and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
that's a great.
I stand by that. Behind that 100%. I think there's a lot of people that have been. I think mental health is a huge problem, particularly what's happening around the world just now. And for me personally, Bitcoin gives me a level of hope that I didn't have before. So if it can give, I think it's a super important point. I don't want to belittle it at all. And I thanks very much for bringing it up, because I think it's really important. And like, if anybody is feeling shitty and they just want to get it off their chest, come and chat to us. We'd be more than happy to have you.
Oh, and more than that, just message any pleb on
definitely
on Twitter, or soon not on Twitter, but whatever people migrate to, probably nothing.
Wherever we end up. Mate, thank you. Appreciate it. You have a great night. Chat soon. Hey guys, if you've made it this far, thanks so much for listening. The plan with the pod is to do sort of guests one week and myself and Brendo the other week, so hopefully that's working for you. If you don't like one of them, just listen to the one you do like. If you want a little bit more information from us, you can find it at bitcoin-first.com/learn.